Alright guys, Pokemon Legends ZA came out over 2 weeks ago. Some people say this game is literally dog shit, some say this is the best game of all time. Today I'm gonna give the realest review ever. Alright, to start I'll let you know that I'm basing this on my own experience, with that being me playing it on the Switch 1 in both handheld and docked version. I also have like 40 hours on the game, 350 battles, and almost a whole Pokédex, so I'm not completely done, but you know, it's pretty close. All I have left is the final Zygarde battle, from my knowledge, and like some side quests, like who really cares. Alright, to start with the review, we're gonna start with the start of the game. Now, the first 5 hours of this game is probably the most dog shit start of any Pokemon game ever. In my experience, this is probably second to last. The only one being worse is Legends Arceus, because for whatever reason, I didn't have auto-focusing Pokeball throws or whatever, so like, I was taking 10 throws to catch a Beedoo. Bruh. But outside of that, Legends EA is probably the worst intro. Like, you really couldn't do anything for the first 5 hours of the game. All you get are cutscenes, yapping dialogue, which you probably don't even care about yet because you just started the game, tutorial on how to play, and you probably already know how to play. You can't walk anywhere. Some Bucktee's gonna come up, yo man, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. So you basically can't go anywhere. There's only like 5 Pokemon you can catch. Half of them are Magikarps, and like basically the first 5 hours are straight boring. If you disagree, you simply never played another Pokemon game in your life. Easily, Legends EA has to be the #1 worst start of a Pokemon game. Like, I'ma just say that, so like, just know that. The start is just straight ass. Alright, but after the intro, probably when you get like Wild Zone 5 or whatever, after that, then the game actually starts getting good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it got pretty enjoyable. I was streaming the game. After the first stream, I thought I just wasted $100 on this game. Like, that shit was just straight ass the first 5 hours. But then after, it got enjoyable and, you know, it's pretty nice. So let's talk about the other stuff that's in the game. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is the Rogue Mega Battles. This is like a main part of the whole game because X and Y, Kalos, Mega Evolution, all that. Basically, in the main story, you have to like fight like 20 boss battles involving Mega Pokemon. And in these battles, you actually gotta play the game unlike original main series game where you just spam Earthquake or something and switch out if they're flying type or something. I don't know. And for the most part, these rogue battles were kind of fun because like every single Pokemon had a different move set. Victory Bell was throwing poison blobs everywhere, so you have to avoid all that. Frostlass was throwing blizzards, so you have to get behind cover and stuff. And I don't know, bro. They were just all doing stuff. However, these matches were like 10-minute long, and you actually have to like pay attention for the 10 minutes. You can't just like use a move like in an old game and, you know, take a piss and come back and use your next move. You have to actually play for 10 straight minutes, which, like, you know, is kind of long for a Pokemon game, but you know, maybe if we see more stuff like this, we'll get used to it. So I don't really have a problem with it being a lengthy battle, I guess. You know, it is what it is. Boss battles, you fight them. It's a new thing they're trying to implement into the series, so I'm not really gonna try and say this was bad, but you know, maybe, you know, decrease their health a little bit. You know, like some of these tanky Pokemon be taking 20 minutes to beat if you don't have a super effective attack. Now, the good thing is, if you do get your ass kicked, you have the option to continue with the same life bar. So like, you don't actually have to completely beat it in one try, outside of like Zygarde, the final battle. Like, when I fought that, I only tried it one time. He kicked my ass because he did Land's Wrath, hit my headpiece 3 times in a row. I didn't know he had that. All I have to say for the most part is these Rogue Mega Battles were enjoyable. However, what wasn't enjoyable is these Pokemon's location. I don't know how many times, like at least half the time, these Rogue Mega Pokemons were placed on the rooftop. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that to actually get to the rooftop, you have to go like 2 blocks away, climb some stairs, and do parkour just to find them. Like, that's just straight ass. I don't know why we can't just straight teleport to the Rogue Battle. Maybe there was an option to teleport there and my dumbass just didn't find it. I just didn't like the fact that you have to solve a maze just to fight stuff like a Beedrill or Frostlass, which you might not even use for the whole main series of the game. I didn't use a Beedrill or Frostlass because, like, buddy, those guys are butt anyways. Unless you have a shiny version of them and just a flex, like, you're really not going to use a Frostlass or Beedrill during the main story. So making it hard just to fight them was just like a pain in the ass. So all I have to say to Game Freak about like these Rogue Megas or boss battles is just allow us the option to teleport straight to the boss. You know, like sometimes it's okay if there is parkour or whatever, but over half the time that's just not good because like you don't really gain anything from doing the parkour either. You're just wasting 5 minutes to find the boss. Hold up. Let's talk about the map. A lot of people hated the fact that this game is Lumio City only instead of the whole Kalos region. I myself agree with that. I wished we can go further than just Lumio City. Sometimes when you stand on the top of the buildings and look outside of the walls, it's just straight just grass and stuff. It just looks dead. I didn't like the fact that you don't even see the rest of Kalos. Not only that you're trapped in Lumios, but the rest of Kalos doesn't even exist. Like, at least show that Kalos is there and make us think that there might be an extension, but no, it's just straight nothing. And you know, they did try adding more stuff with Lysander's lab and the underwater sewers. Make the most they can out of this small city, but you know, I still wished there was more than just Lumio City. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about are the graphics. Now, a lot of people be dogpiling on Game Freak saying, yo, these trees are literal dog shit. These buildings, they're awful. These garbage bins looks like they come from a PS2 game. Now, I'm gonna start by saying this. I don't play any Pokemon game looking at the graphics outside of just the Pokemons themselves. Like, I'm gonna just be straight up. The main reason you buy a Pokemon game is for the Pokemon, not for the buildings. If you care about the building and furniture so much, go play like something like The Sims or something. I don't know. I've seen the balconies. They look pretty bad in the game. They should have just decided not to add them in the first place because they do look bad. I'm not going to come here and just dick ride saying they can just make a shitty looking game. No, they look bad. Like, should have just not had the balconies in the first place. But what's inexcusable is like some of these walls. I never experienced it myself because, like I said, I don't play the game staring at brick walls all day. I see on posts that some of the buildings are unaligned. Like, you would see half the door or half the window, and then it cuts straight up, just gone.
What is that?
I don't know how they got this part wrong. This is way worse than the bad looking balconies. Like, they straight up should not have this problem as a billion-dollar franchise. Get the buildings to look correct. They don't gotta look good. They just gotta look like a proper building. That's all I'm gonna say, because like, let's keep it real. The main graphics that matters
are the ones of the Pokemon.
And once again, they delivered. If you played this game, you know that these Pokemon models are like hella clean. I played on the Switch 1, and these movements done by the Pokemon and the models and how they move and everything, they just look clean.
Get Wi-Fi anywhere you go.
From my knowledge, this game was given a $13 million budget. They should have done like 30 million because, you know, they got bread like that, but that's not the point right here. With that $13 million budget, they easily spent like 12 million on the Pokemon and the character designs, with the last million being on buildings. That's probably the only reason why these buildings look so ass, is because all the money went into the Pokemon, because that's their main selling point. You play Pokemon for the Pokemon. What? And because these Pokemon models are so good, they're able to get away with all these bad designs, because their main selling point, which is the Pokemons, are always top tier. So people are gonna buy it because that's what you wanted to see. I'm just keeping it straight up, bro. Like let's keep it real. Pokemon games would be straight ass if the Pokemons look like PS2 models and the buildings look pristine as hell. Like, buddy, we don't care about the buildings. We're here for the Pokemon. Man, the character designs, they're also good. I don't know how they do this. They always make the characters and the Pokemon look good, and then get away with the rest of the game looking like ass. Like, I don't know, bro. They got some dark magic going on in Game Freak HQ. Anyway, that's enough about talking about graphics and character models. Like, you already know the Pokemon and the characters, you know, the main characters, you know, not these NPCs. They always look good, and everything else, they look ass. They gotta do better, bro. I don't know what they're doing. And speaking about characters, let's look into the story and the characters. Now, I'm gonna keep it real for the most part. I don't really care about the story or characters when I play a Pokemon game. All you basically do is that, get Pokemon, beat the evil organization, catch the legendary, and be the champion. That's like, in the main series games, that's basically what you do. As for the character, there's only like 2 to 3 relevant characters that you repeatedly see or like send you on side quests. Like, most characters in the old series games, they literally do nothing. In the original games, only Blue was like the only relevant characters. You fought him like 5 times. He talks about being your rival, he's stronger than you and stuff. Nobody even talks to you after you beat them. That's it. In the original X and Y games, you had a gang of friends, and like outside of the main rival, the other 3 were straight ass. They versed you one time, I'm pretty sure. You kicked their ass, and they literally just jacking off in a circle after that. These are the worst rivals of all time, X and Y. If you say otherwise, you don't know Pokemon. What I'm getting at is that most of the time, the characters in the game, they're like irrelevant because they don't show up during the process of the story. Only very few instances you see them like multiple times. In Unova, that's why it is the best game ever. Black and White, all the gym leaders, they come back to fight Team Plasma. Like, that shit was cool as hell. Because in these other games, once you beat a person, you never talk to them ever again. Like I said, I don't really play for the story or character because like you don't really notice them. But in Legends EA, you actually notice these characters. They show up multiple times, you fight them multiple times, and they talk to you multiple times. So you actually get to know what these characters are about. As for the story, you know, I don't really care about the story, but like, since they kept bringing up the same people, you can actually like follow along, I guess. And you know, it was pretty nice, bro. You gotta go stop the rogue mega evolutions, stop the ultimate weapon or whatever. I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna keep it real. I was not paying attention. All I know is that, bro, I'm gonna just get to the next part, bro. I don't know what I'm waffling about. Also, side note, out of the whole cast of characters, my favorite gotta be Naveen, because he's a top tier Qunari Glazer. And I relate to that heavy. Not because I'm a Qunari Glazer, but because I'm a LeBron Glazer.
That's alright. Hush.
On my soul, I'm the biggest LeBron Glazer out of the whole Pokemon community, and that's a fact. That has nothing to do with the game, but you know, I just gotta let that be known because LeBron's the GOAT. Alright, next let's talk about the side missions. In this game, there's like 100 side missions, and like, the side missions, you don't have to do them.
Bruh.
I myself did like 90% of them. You know, do they get tedious and boring at times? Like, yeah, like half of them are just battling a guy or going to a location. It's not the funnest thing to do, but at the same time, you can't complain about a lack of content when there's 100 side missions. In old games, I'm keep bringing up old main series game because Legends EA is a main series game. Most main series games don't even have side quests. It's just a main quest for the most part. Sudowoodo's in the way and you need to cut him down. That's not a side quest. That's the main quest. So like, you know, it's good that you can choose to actually do the main quest or do something else if you really feel like it. That isn't just catching and battling Pokemon. And hopefully they continue to put in side quests because like, you know, like you don't have to do it, but it just allows you to do more things. That's really all I have to say about side missions. The next topic I want to talk about are shinies. Now, this game has like the same shiny odds as most new gen games at 1 in 4096. However, they made it like the shiny hunting mechanic much easier than any other region before. Me myself, despite not even shiny hunting, I found 3 shinies, or 4 if you want to count Mareep you get on a side mission.
Oh my god!
I found 3 shinies during my whole playthrough. Bellsprout, Flabébé, and Patrat. Now, none of these Pokemon are that good, but at the same time, this is probably like one of the only times I got a shiny Pokemon before beating the main stories, and I got multiple of them. Like in other main series games, the only way to get a shiny before beating the main game is either extremely lucky or you actually have to try the shiny hunt. Now, me myself, I'm not a shiny hunter, so I don't really care about shinies being easier to get because I don't even have the shiny charm yet. I still have to do 1,000 battles. And then if I wish to, I can do the shiny hunting method and like just get bare shinies. But regardless, to me, the shinies in this game, it gotta be a plus. It's just easily noticeable. You don't have to like spend too long to find one if you really wanted one. You can macro it. I'm not talking about macros or whatever. And just overall, it's just better for the casual players to just get shinies. You know, old games you had repels. This game there's no repel. And you just see like multiple encounters. You can just straight walk past them. And it's just better for the casual players. Alright, next up is the battle mechanics. For the first time, you're fighting like you do in the anime, where you just straight up command your Pokemon to attack, you can switch mid-battle, and all that stuff. Now, when I first started playing, I didn't like this, because, you know, it's a new thing. I didn't know how it worked, I didn't really like it. But after a while, you know, it gets enjoyable. You can easily dodge opponent's attack by switching out, which, you know, you can cheese the system. I don't know how they do this in PvP, because I've not played PvP yet, but, you know, you can switch out mid-attack to avoid all damage. And you know, that's pretty cool. They do that in the anime sometimes. Also, you can attack multiple times in a row, depending on the moves you do. Like, you can hit them with a quick attack, and then you can hit them with something else. You know, it's pretty cool that this new battle mechanics, just sometimes, you know, when you control an attack, they walk funny. And I'm not talking about the confused status. Just sometimes they just walk like an idiot. But you know, it's a new mechanic. Maybe the next Pokemon game, they will continue with this new mechanic, because like, they're bringing in Pokemon champions. I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep the turn-based mode in that game. And in the new, you know, the leaks are saying wind and waves. I'm gonna assume they're gonna continue with the new format of just attack straight out, how they're doing right now in Legends EA. Now, they should update it. You know, some moves don't even work properly. Like, I was using Earthquake. That's because abilities don't exist. I was spamming Earthquake with my Feraligatr, and they were using Dig. In an original Pokemon game, you would do double damage to somebody digging. But in this game, it didn't have any effect. So like, they gotta fix some of the moves. You know, they're not all correct because this is their first time doing it. Unless they want Earthquake to not hit grounded enemies. You know, that's up to them too. But for the most part, the battle mechanics is pretty nice. They just need to make it look better, make them walk better, because some of the walking paths are just stupid, and then make more attacks as well. And let's continue talk about the future of just battle mechanics, the series and the game and the DLC. Like I said, they should keep the battle mechanics for the future. I don't know if Legends ZA is the stepping stone for the Pokemon franchise to make it non-turn based and just straight spamming attacks. Like I said, I like it. So if they continue with this path, they'll probably get even better. They'll have more attacks in there. They have more time to work on the mechanic of the battle mechanics and everything else. And Wind and Waves, the leaked games supposedly, are coming out in the Switch 2 only. And from the leaks, I'm not a leaker, but from the leaks, they plan to actually make this a good Pokemon game since it's the 10th generation. They're trying to do something special from what I heard and the leaks I've seen. Will they actually follow through with that? That's up to them. That's not up to me.
Bruh.
But let's talk about the DLC. They already announced before the game even came out that this game will have a paid DLC with more Mega Pokemon and more content. My thoughts on that is that either A, this should have been a free DLC, or B, they should have just added that to the game to begin with. I'm not sure why they just holding back like that. I don't like the fact that there's a paid DLC, especially before the game even released. Like, that doesn't make it look good. Will the DLC be good? And will I buy the DLC? I don't know. I would have to get the Shiny Charm because more Pokemons will be in the DLC, I assume. And I can get more new Shinies and I might get the DLC. I also have to see if there's any new extension to the map, right? Because what we know in the DLC is that there's Hoopa. I don't know if we actually have a new map, if he's going to teleport you to a new map or whatever, or if he's just teleporting you to like rogue battle fights. Because if it's just rogue battle fights, then probably ass. If it's a new map, it might actually be worth the pay. I don't know, $30. So then, with all that being said, is this game worth it? Now, it depends on what you qualify as being worth it. To me, I have two factors when deciding a game is worth it. The first is if I enjoyed it. I did enjoy Legends ZA. And the second is if the hours I played the game exceeds or equals to the amount I paid for the game. Legends ZA in Canadian currency cost $100 basically. And right now, I only have like 40, maybe 45 hours on it. So I'm paying about $2 per hour on this game. So like, to me, it's not worth it yet. I don't know how much more I'm gonna play. And of course, the DLC will add on to the price. That's a different story. Right now, it's not worth it unless I reach 100 hours. But that's just for me. You might have a different parameter on how you measure if a game is worth it or not. Like, I'm gonna just compare ZAs to 3 other games I got on Steam recently. Hollow Knight Silksong. It costed $30 and I 100% completed the game with 60 hours. Basically 50 cents per hour played. Balatro, that was $20. I only have 15 hours on the game so far, but at the same time, A, I'm not 100% completed the game yet, and B, from my knowledge, the creator of the game said there's going to be a free DLC sometime in the future. Like Pokemon ZA isn't getting a free DLC. But when Balatro gets a free DLC, I'm going to spend more time on the game, and then maybe it will become worth it in my eyes. And the last game was Blue and Tower Defense 6, costed $6 because I got it on sale, and I have 125 hours on that game. So obviously, these 3 games are worth it compared to that of Legends ZA. But like I said, this all depends on how you measure if a game is worth it or not. So let's just get to the final talking point of the game, my rating of the game. Like I said in the start of the video, I played on the Switch 1 in both docked and handheld. You can easily notice, especially when it was docked, that the graphics and frame rate were kinda ass. Like, it was lagging a lot. I couldn't enjoy the game to the fullest because I played on the Switch 1. My recommendation to you who don't have the game and want to know if the game is worth it or whatever is get a Switch 2. If you don't want to play on a Switch 2, you're not going to get the best experience. And to me, because of these low frames at times, horrible starting, but the good story and the good game mechanics and everything else, I have to give Legends ZA a rating of 7 out of 10. It would have been an 8 or a 9 if I had a Switch 2, because then I wouldn't have to worry about the frame rates. It's a good, enjoyable game, just a bad starting, and, for whatever reason, the Switch can't handle Pokemon graphics. I don't know if this is just Game Freak just being ass at making games or something, but like, the Switch just has bad frames when running Pokemon games. Now, is it the worst game of all time? Hell nah. The original games are the worst of all time. You black and white, multiple glitches, no character or story basically. If someone out there claims that red and blue or red and green, I don't remember what colors they were, are the best game of all time, they don't know what they're talking about. They're pushing 40, probably already have dementia.
Oh my god!
Be straight up telling me you'd rather play red and blue over ZA on the Switch 2 if both were accessible on the Switch 2. Like, nobody's playing red and blue with black and white pixel everywhere. Now, is it the best game of all time? To me, no. My favorite game still is black and white too. That's just me. And part of this is because I did not play ZA on the Switch 2. So if you came to me telling me ZA is the best game of all time and you were on the Switch 1, I'ma think you're a dumbass. Huh? But if you played ZA on the Switch 2 and telling me it's the best game of all time, I'm not really gonna argue you. That's your opinion, and it's probably very fun on the Switch 2. But since I didn't have a Switch 2, I wasn't able to enjoy the game to the fullest. And yeah, that's basically my review on this whole Legend ZA, if it's a good or a bad game. The takeaway is basically, if you really want to play this game a lot and want to like the game, you have to get it on the Switch 2. Also, I'm gonna name this video either like best game of all time or worst game of all time, because I already know some goofuses are just gonna watch 10 seconds in and then comment some slick shit like, bro, whatever you talking about, you don't know shit about Pokemon. All I know, they're a buck tea. And yeah, I don't even know, I'm just waffling. This is my first time recording without a script. Like, I'm just straight up saying stuff off my dome. But I've been in the recording booth for 50 minutes just ranting about dumb shit, getting my words wrong and stuff. Whatever, bro, that's the end of the video. That's about it.
I'm Pickle Jimmy. I'm Pickle Jimmy.